Have you ever been absolutely sure you knew what a movie was about just from the title, only to be completely wrong? Well, that's exactly what happened to a ton of people back in 2025 and 2026, thanks to two movies with almost the same name, but that's where the similarities end. Today, we're going to untangle this wild tale of two goats.
So the big question is, why? Why were so many people getting these two films mixed up? One's a horror movie, the other is a kid's cartoon. How does that even happen? Well, that's what we're here to figure out.
And believe me, this was a real thing. It wasn't just a few people. This comment from a Reddit user pretty much says it all. Folks were genuinely confused, thinking one was the other. It was a whole situation. Okay, so let's dive right in. To understand the mix-up, we have to start with the first piece of the puzzle, the dark, supernatural sports horror flick that eventually got the title Him. First off, let's just get on the same page. We all know what GOAT means, right? It's the acronym for greatest of all time. It's a huge deal in sports culture, a title saved for the absolute legends. And that simple idea is the jumping-off point for both of these movies. They go in radically different directions with it. So this is where it gets really clever. In Him, the title has a double meaning. On the surface, yeah, it's about an athlete striving to be the greatest of all time. But the horror comes from that other meaning of GOAT, the one tied to demonic symbols, specifically the demon Mammon, which represents greed and money. So the desire for greatness gets twisted into something way, way darker. And here are the stats on the movie itself. It's a supernatural horror film, produced by Jordan Peele's company, Monkey Paw. You've got Marlon Wayans in a really intense, dramatic role. The plot's all about a young quarterback who finds out his hero made a deal with a demon to be successful. But look at that last bullet point. That's the key to everything. The film's original title was just GOAT. So how did the movie actually do? Well, with critics, it was not great, a 29% on Rotten Tomatoes. Most reviewers thought the themes were a little too obvious, a bit heavy-handed, although everyone seemed to agree that Marlon Wayans was incredible in it. Audiences were a little kinder, landing it at a 58%. So pretty divided. And what about the money? Well, it made $28 million at the box office on a $27 million budget. So, it basically broke even. It wasn't a huge flop, but it definitely wasn't the smash hit that you might expect from a Jordan Peele production. All right, let's switch gears. And I mean, let's really switch gears. Prepare for some serious tonal whiplash, because now we're talking about GOAT, the animated family movie from Sony Pictures. I mean, the first clue that this is a totally different beast is just look at this voice cast. It's insane. You've got stars from Stranger Things and Bridgerton, legends like Gabrielle Union and Jennifer Hudson, and even actual NBA superstar Stephen Curry, who is also producer. This thing is stacked. And the story? It could not be more different from the demonic horror film. This is a classic, feel-good, family-friendly underdog story. It's about a little goat named Will who's trying to make it big in a super tough animal sport. It's all about heart, humor, and proving everyone wrong.
And the reception reflects that difference big time. Just look at this chart. The animated goat scored a certified fresh 80% on Rotten Tomatoes. That is night and day compared to the 29% that Him got.
Pretty much everyone loved this movie's charm. This quote from Daniel Howitt really sums it up perfectly. He said that even though the story is one we've seen before, it felt fresh because it had so much imagination and sincerity. Critics just found it to be a beautiful, heartfelt film. So let's put it all together now. We've got the demonic horror movie about the price of fame, and we've got the animated comedy about the power of the underdog. Let's really put them head to head. This table just lays it all out, plain and simple. You've got horror versus animation. Jordan Peele versus Stephen Curry. The price of fame versus the power of the underdog. I mean, come on. The only thing these two movies actually have in common is that four-letter word in the title. Which brings us right back to our original question. How did this happen? How did this confusion get started in the first place? Well, the answer is all in the timing. This timeline explains everything. Look, back in June 2022, Jordan Peele's company bought the script for a horror movie called GOAT. For 2 whole years, that's what the project was known as. It wasn't until May 2024 that they officially changed the name to Him. By then, the original title was already stuck in people's heads. So, a year later, when Sony announces their own movie called GOAT, well, you can see how the seeds of confusion were already planted. So, there you have it. It was really a perfect storm. You had a film that was known by one title for years during its development,
And that title just happens to be one of the most popular acronyms in all of pop culture. It was just a classic, kind of confusing Hollywood coincidence. But in the end, it's pretty interesting, right? Both of these films, in their own completely opposite ways, are kind of asking the same question. What does it really mean to be the greatest of all time? Is it about a dark, lonely sacrifice for power? Or is it about having the sincerity and the heart to beat the odds? It really makes you think about what greatness actually costs.